When the time that the murder was committed, I was in Orlando, Florida with my family. I had airplane tickets, hotel receipts, phone records, and videotape, and I was with all my family members at the time. When I returned to New York, I was accused of this murder. When it was time to go to trial, the lady who said that I actually did it, she didn't want to go through with it. But what made her become a witness is due to the fact that she had got arrested in a stolen van, she had outstanding warrants, and she was on probation at the time. So they asked her to they told her to cooperate on this homicide. We won't arrest you for this stolen van. So that's what she did. When it was time to go to trial a year later, she didn't want to go through with it. Unfortunately, she was pregnant. She didn't want to have her baby in jail, so she went forward with the lie, and she told them that I committed this murder. Right before I got sentenced, this girl came back to court and she recanted her testimony. She told the actual trial judge that she lied on me. She couldn't live with this nightmare knowing she sent the innocent man to jail. Unfortunately, the judge said that he felt that she was an admitted perjurer. He felt that her trial testimony was the truth, and now she came back lying. What happened was I was a drug dealer. I had a couple of drug spots, and they wanted me off the streets. So they did what they had to do to convict me by any means necessary. I got sentenced to 25 years to life. I wrote the district attorney every year telling them that I was innocent. All I'm asking is that y'all look at my paperwork because you have an innocent man in prison for something he didn't do. They wouldn't do that. When I got arrested, I also had a phone receipt in my possession to show that I paid my phone bill in Florida. This phone bill showed that I paid my phone bill 3 hours. This phone receipt showed that I paid my phone bill 3 hours before the murder was committed in New York City. They never turned over the receipt. They withheld it. Unfortunately, in 2012, my son came into some money. He lost his mother. He came into some money. He gave me $50,000. I hired an investigator. When I hired this investigator, they read my paperwork. I told them that they needed to go speak with my cousin because he's the one who had my car at the time, and they seen that his name was mentioned. They knew this information from the beginning, that it was a possibility that my cousin could have been involved, but they never even wanted to investigate it because they wanted me off the streets that bad. So what they did, they ignored it. They withheld the receipt. During the time of the investigation, when I got arrested, the police also sent the detectives from Florida to go to the hotel where I said I was staying at. They went to the hotel, and it was verified that Mr. Fleming was in Florida. And they sent a letter back to New York City Police Department letting them know that Mr. Fleming was in Florida with his family. There was no way he could have did this murder. This letter was never turned over. They withheld this letter. When I got these investigators in 2012, they actually went to go visit my cousin. He was in South Carolina at the time. They spoke with him, and they told him, listen, we believe you may have something to do with this murder. My cousin finally came forward with the truth, and he told them that I didn't do the murder, that basically he told them that he drove the getaway car, and he also told them who the actual killer was. At that time, 4 days later, this was in November 2013, they called me down to court. And when I went down to court, the district attorney sat me down. I sat across the table from them. They opened up the folder, and they pushed over a piece of paper to me. They asked me, do I know what that was? I said, no. They said, this is a phone receipt that we recovered in your file. It's a phone receipt showing that you paid your phone bill in Florida. So it shows that you may have been in Florida with your family. They also turned over the letter that they withheld also. The letter showed that the police in Orlando, Florida said that I was in Florida. People in Florida put me there. They withheld that evidence. If not for that evidence being withheld, I would have never did no time in prison. They took me back upstate, and I was wondering why I was still in prison. This was in November 2013. They sent me back upstate, and April the 7th, I got a phone call, and they told me that I was going down to court. They said, we investigated your case. You're going to be going down to court, and your case is going to be dismissed. I went down to court on April 8th, and unfortunately, it took a black district attorney to come in office. The whole 24 years I was incarcerated, they had a white district attorney that was in office. He would not investigate my case. This black district attorney came in office January 2014. April the 8th, he released me. Unfortunately, it took 24 years, 7 months and 20 days for me to prove my innocence. So, as you see, I give all praise to God, because if not for him, I wouldn't be here today. I have a second chance at life. I got exonerated, and I also been